You are Locked On Astros Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, that was an absolutely brutal end to the first half of the season for the Astros as the offense completely shrivels up for the second consecutive day as they go into the break. Still not bad, but you just could have had a lot better than they have had the last couple of days against the Texas Rangers. Welcome into the Locked On Astros Postcast right here on the Locked On Sports Houston page. Thank you for joining me, your host, Michael Connor, today. We're here after every Astros game, which will be off for a few days because, well, no Astros baseball because of the All-Star break coming up. So hope you guys enjoy a little bit of downtime from the sports in your life. 50-46 for the Astros now on the season following the loss today. We got a lot to get into, specifically, of course, as I mentioned there to start, the offense being atrocious today, once again for the second consecutive day. The pitching was spectacular out of Ronel Blanco today, and then we will give out some grades for the first half of the season. I know it's not the first half. I always like to preface it. It's not the first half of the season because they already passed the 81-game mark, but mentally, it's the end of the first half of the season. That's what happened today. Today's episode of the Locked On Astros Postcast is brought to you by Tax Network USA. Did you know that it's never too late to resolve your tax issues with the IRS? Don't wait. Reduce your tax debt and get help from a team of licensed tax professionals. Call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. So, for the second consecutive day offensively, the Astros put up a big, fat nothing when it comes to the bats. Now, to an extent, at times you have to give credit to the Rangers pitching, executing pitches in tough situations to where the Astros can't score runs. You always have to do that in baseball. Yesterday was one of those games, we talked about it a lot, that the Astros came out and it was a lot of bad luck. You have those days at the plate where you hit a ball hard here, you hit a ball hard there, you know. A guy makes a diving stop here, a diving catch there, whatever it might be that keeps you from, having a moment where you can bust out. Today, the game boils down to offensively more than anything else, the fifth inning. You had Max Scherzer on the ropes, right? Bases loaded, nobody out. Good managing by Bruce Bochy to go and get Spores out of the bullpen and pull Max Scherzer. The Astros are ready to tee off on Scherzer, and if Scherzer stays in there, you can't convince me that the Astros don't have a big inning there. It was a brilliant move by the manager. But it was also bad at-bats by the Astros. You know, you have Dubon and Altuve, the first two guys that will have an opportunity to just get home one run. Perfect. When you think about the most perfect contact guys on the team, when you just need contact there, basically, you think of those two, correct? Especially with Dubon, just hitting the ball on the ground somewhere. He's really good at just doing that. He has been in a funk lately. There is no doubt about that. He has been very bad in the last few weeks. And there's a reason why he's not playing as much as we saw for a good period of time because he's been playing poorly. To not even be able to put the ball – now, look, I know it's easier said than done, of course. It's easier said than done to put a bat to ball against a guy that's blowing 97 and has a wicked breaking ball. Like, I can sit here and do this. You can sit here and do this and say all these things, and then we could get in the box and see how insanely difficult it is. Even if you're a professional who's trained for it, who does it every single day of your life, it is not as easy as we all make it out to be. I completely get that. But I am not going to sit here and not criticize two of the better contact guys for not doing something. I mean, Altuve's at bat too. He just goes and pops one up to second base. I figured, Altuve's going to at least find a way to get the ball deep enough into the outfield to where you're going to get a sacrifice fly there. But they didn't. And really, again, that was kind of the story of the game today. You had that opportunity. Then you have opportunities late. I mean, look at the late innings there. You get guys on in every inning, and you get guys on to start innings, and nothing comes of it. I mean, you get that one run in the ninth off of Yates on the ground out for Loperfido, but it was just a lack of execution. I mean, look at the last two games. This is where, again, baseball, I've said this for years. If you've listened to me in the past, you know this. If you haven't, this is something that I've always said. Sometimes baseball is a stupid sport that never makes sense. Baseball will baseball. And to an extent, the last 2 days were that. It's never going to be perfect. I know that we all live in this world where we want instant gratification. We want instant results. We can't live with a loss. Like, they lose 2 games in a row and the sky is falling and you want to complain about everybody that's out there. It's stupid. That's just the reality of the world today, though, unfortunately. I'm a very even-keeled type of person. I don't get too high. I don't get too low, typically. This is where you got to stay in that middle, I think. That's the only way to operate. Because if you're going too low and you're not going to get anything out of it. You're just going to drive yourself into madness over 2 games. I always try to remind myself, too, and I want to remind everybody, like, think about it every year. When you're a baseball team and you walk into a 162-game season, you are getting level of expectation, of course, is different for every team. Like with this Astros team, they walked into this season where you sat there and when they walked in and you said, automatically, they're losing at least 60 games this season. And they're going to lose more than 60 games, obviously. They're going to be around 90-win team at best, I think. I think they should be about a 90-win team. They've got 50 wins on the season, which is great considering where they were. But you're automatically losing some of those games. Simple as that. Don't get anything twisted today. You guys I see the comments already about Montero this, Montero that. I understand Montero's terrible. I get it. The Astros did not lose the game today because of Rafael Montero. They didn't. Now, did it help? No, of course not. But if you expect the Astros to go win a baseball game on any day where they're only getting 2 runs or 1 run in a game, it's never going to happen. It's not. In this sport, you have to score over 4 per game. You just do. If there's any anger today, the anger should be pointed at the bats doing nothing. Of course, again, do I like Rafael Montero? No. There's no reason for him to be on the baseball team. At the end of this, after the trade deadline, whatever, if they can't add to the bullpen, or if they should add to the bullpen, and then they should DFA him. Simple as that. They've already cut Abreu. You can cut him too. It's the only way to do it. Or see if you can con somebody into taking a contract, whatever. But the biggest thing is the offense today. It did nothing. Hey, look at late. Good move by Bruce Bochy in the 8th inning. Astros get a couple of guys on. You're on at top of the order, right? Altuve and Bregman there. And you go to Yordan Alvarez. And he goes to the bullpen and brings in his lefty. He throws 97. And he makes 2 excellent pitches. Just executes. That's where, look, you just got beat. Executes on pitch 1 and pitch 2 of the at-bat. Yordan swings at either of those. He's not doing anything with it. So then he's protecting on 0-2, and he whiffs on a 97-mile-an-hour fastball up and away. He did swing at a bad pitch that was out of the zone, but when you're a hitter in that spot, you're protecting 0-2, and you're doing whatever you can just to stay alive. So you're swinging. Credit to the pitcher. Came out and executed. Credit to them. They made the right decisions today. Credit to their offense. For an offense, they got out-hit, again, 2 days in a row. The Rangers had more runs than hits today. They got out-hit yesterday. They scored more runs than the Astros in those 2 games. And they won. It's baseball. Like I said, baseball is baseball. And sometimes it is a dumb, silly sport that will drive you mad. When you think you have it figured out or the team has it figured out and they're rolling, it will humble you in a quick way. Something that's not been humbled in a good way has been, of course, Ronel Blanco. He has been absolutely tremendous for the Astros this season. He was that again today. We have to give some love to him. And if I'm going to be mad about something today that I want to rant on, It's the fact that he won't be in Arlington this week as an all-star. We'll talk about that here in a brief second here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. Have you played PrizePicks yet? If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Why? I tell you about it all the time for good reason. It's fun. I have a great time playing PrizePicks, and you'll have a great time playing PrizePicks as well. It's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Right now, with PrizePicks, you can win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. That's right. You can turn $10 into 1,000. If you're looking for great promotions, PrizePicks has you covered every week. They do a thing where they lower player stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup hit, or even getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. It's available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, our great state of Texas, and Georgia. Right now, you can download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. And one more message from me before we get back to our discussion on the Astros. 4-2 loss today to the Rangers to wrap up the first half of the season. We'll talk Ronel Blanco in just a moment. We'll get to some grades of the first half of the season as well before we get out of here. But I want to tell you right now that we here at the Locked On Astros Postcast pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether, of course, it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs. It is year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after your unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed professionals and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A-plus rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. Be sure to mention Locked On Astros Postcast at checkout, and you'll receive $250 in discounts off their services. Locked On Astros Postcast rolls on here on a Sunday afternoon. I hope you guys, first of all, I hope that all of you have power back now in your lives because, well, that would be awful if you didn't. It's been a long week for some of you. If you don't have power, thanks for coming back and saying hello, watching the show wherever you're watching. And, well, we hope that you get it back this week during the All-Star break. And then, of course, we can watch the Astros in the second half of the season. Hopefully, continue the role that they've been on overall as of late, getting themselves to the spot that they are at right now at 50-46 on the season heading into the All-Star break. But look, again, for this team, based on where they started this season, you go back and you look at their record at the end of April, 10-19. At the end of May, 25-33. Here, or at the end of June, they were all the way back to 42-41, and they go into the break today, 50-46. It's been a miracle considering where they started and how poor they were early in this season. But you know what? Now it's time for them to live up to the expectation level that we're all going to have for them moving forward, because they have absolutely raised the bar on the season and put back into mind winning the division, going deep into the postseason. It's all back. Angels and Mariners, by the way. The Mariners keep losing. Good thing for the Angels. Pulled off another win last night over the Mariners to keep the Astros one game back in the American League West. At this moment of the show, as we're doing it live, it's going to be bottom of the fourth in Anaheim. The game is scoreless between the Angels and the Mariners. Mariners do not have a hit yet in the game. Angels only have one. So pitchers duel so far out there in Anaheim. We'll take a look at that one again before we get out of here for the end of the Locked On Astros postcast. But I want to give some love to Ronel Blanco again. Obviously gives up the 2-run home run in the first inning today. But after that, I think it was 17 in a row at one point that he set down. It might have even been more than that by the end of the day. He goes 6 innings, 2 runs, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Tough luck loser, but finishes his first half of the season 9-4, 2.56 ERA, and he is on his way at the moment to having the lowest batting average against in a single season in Astros history. This is an Astros franchise that has, honestly, an unbelievable track record of pitching in the franchise history. I mean, that you see, if you watch the game on TV today, you saw it. They ran the lowest batting average against ever in a season. I think it was Verlander in 2019 is the lowest right now. That his 2022 Cy Young season was up there. Or did he? Yeah, he won the Cy Young in 2022 and 2019. Yeah, both of those years were Cy Young years. Garrett Cole's also up there for that 2019 season. Mike Scott, I believe his Cy Young season in '86. The Astros have a ton of Cy Young winners. They really do. You just go look through some of the teams in the history of the sport and the names that they've had. The Astros pitching history is about as rich as anybody in the sport. I mean, that's why they're right up there at the top, most no-hitters thrown, including one of them thrown by Ronel Blanco earlier this season. Now, he's not there yet, of course, with those guys, but he's been unbelievable all season long, and we've talked about it, a ton. What he's given them, you're always looking for a surprise in a season, and this is a credit again to Dana Brown for coming in and evaluating everybody that was in the organization and seeing something in him, because he's been the guy that stood on the table like, hey, we got to give this guy a chance as a starter. I want to see him stretched out and lengthened and give him a chance. And a credit to Blanco and the staff and everybody for finding the changeup this year, and he has just been unhittable. He really has. He's 109 innings in on the season. He's given up 64 hits. That's it. .97 whip. He still walks guys. Got 42 walks on the season, which isn't, horrendous by any means, but it's not great. He's probably going to end up walking about 70-something this year if he pitches 200 innings, which, would you like the number to be lower? Of course. But it really doesn't matter when he does walk guys, because he's just been that good at getting outs. Again, tough luck loss today. And, of course, this week is the All-Star break. Now, there's been so many guys that have dropped out of it that aren't going to go. The game is dying. That All-Star game is actually dying slowly because players just don't want to participate in it anymore. And I get it. You want to either have time with your family. You want to, rest and recuperate, do whatever you can. It's as simple as that. Altuve's not going to go. Tucker's not going to go. It is what it is. It is a shame. And part of it, is the fact that every team has to be represented in the All-Star game, which I understand why you want to do that. Like, you don't want a fan base to be shut out by any means, but I will say it is overall a very dumb thing. There have been many years where you could go find guys on the All-Star team that have no business at all being added to a roster. And I just real quick want to go through and look at – I'm pulling up the AL roster at this moment. And this is where Blanco got hurt, was there being somebody representing every team. And really I'm going to one guy here, and it's a guy that's inside of the division, a couple of guys inside of the division, actually. It's Tyler Anderson and Logan Gilbert. I don't think that there's anybody that would make the argument that Ronel Blanco has had a worse season than either one of those guys. Now, that was the only Mariner and the only Angel on the team. They have to have one. Logan Gilbert's been good this season. He's probably been, at best, as good as Ronel Blanco. I would take Blanco, his season, a little bit over Logan Gilbert's. I think it's just been more consistent. Tyler Anderson's been a really good story for the Angels. He had a really good year, but his season, he goes to go match up the numbers. It's not as good as Ronel Blanco's. It's just a shame that they aren't able to find a way to wiggle him in there so he can one day go to his baseball reference page and see the star, next to his season, his 2024 season, because it's been worthy of that. He keeps this up, he's going to be a top 5 minimum Cy Young vote getter in the American League. Continues at this pace, he'll be top 3 at worst. I've absolutely been completely blown away this season has become and what he's meant to this team, and they wouldn't be here. This team would not be where they're at without Ronel Blanco kind of putting the staff on his back this season and pitching like the staff ace all year long. Unbelievable stuff for him, and he was great again today. Offense failed him. Simple as that, as he is the tough luck loser in this one. Let's give out some first half of the season grades. Who doesn't love that? Let's talk about each guy in the lineup individually, run through the rotation real quick, run through the bullpen real quick. We'll do that next here on the Locked On Astros Postcast. But real quick, I want to tell you about FanDuel. I love sports. You guys love sports, and we all love them so much that we just never want them to stop. Of course, the NBA playoffs are in our past. Now we're in full-on baseball mode, but it does mean we have fewer games in our lives right now. The sports aren't sportsing like we want them to sport. But FanDuel, they keep me and you with the sports going whenever we want them. All I have to do is open up that app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. This summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. Head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Locked On Astros Postcast here on a Sunday afternoon. Again, hope you guys are having a great day. Hope that, again, you have power back, that you are hanging out. No, for the people, I'm mad that I missed it at the very end, but the Euros just finished and Spain won. Big day for Spain. They got the Wimbledon winner in Carlos Alcaraz, and then they get the Euro Championship over England today. My boy from Chelsea, though, did score the goal for England today, Cole Palmer. He's a beast. But this is the Locked On Astros Postcast. We're here to talk Astros baseball. Thank you again for joining us. If you're new to the channel today, please hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you guys doing that. We keep rolling along where we're at, keep building this thing up, and hopefully in the second half we'll have a lot of great things to talk about. We'll also have some postseason baseball to do. And don't forget, this channel doesn't go dead when baseball season ends as it continues to wind down. Training camp's getting ready to heat up for the Texans. Preseason will be here before you know it. Guess what? When they play preseason games, we're going to do a show, Locked On Texans Postcast. When the Rockets get going, we're going to be here for Rockets games as well. So Cougs football, too, with coming up in the fall on Saturdays. We'll be with you for those. So a lot of great opportunities to talk Houston sports with you guys across the board. Obviously, something I've done for a very long time, and I am very excited to do it. And yeah, real quick, he looked awesome the other night. Did Reed in the summer league. Too bad that Bronny James got all the hype because, the 55th pick in the draft needs to get all the love. A guy who can't, shoot a ball consistently. Let's ignore the third pick in the draft who was out there to lighten it up. He's going to continue lighting it up, but it's today's media world. It's a sad, sad state. It's not the national media. It's the Los Angeles, New York, and anytime there's a big story, that's literally all they talk about. So I don't worry about it. They don't even mention baseball at this point on ESPN. So, I'm not looking at that by any means. I'm not going to look for them to do a grade on a first half for Astros players as well. Let's just run through them real quick. If you guys think I'm wrong or right on any of them, you can give me, you can shoot it there in the comments. I'm just going to go through the roster real quick. Brian Abreu, I'd say B-. And for those of you that think that I'm just dogging on him constantly, I think that's a fair grade. It's not been very consistent. It's been a lot of traffic, but he has gotten results. But he's not pitched at a level that's an A by any means. Spencer Arrighetti, I'd say a D. It's been too up and down, but he's a rookie. But I'd say a D. Ronel Blanco, A+, easy. Can't give one to Jake Bloss, don't know that. Hunter Brown has rebounded. I do have to take the whole picture into the account here with Hunter Brown, so I'll give him a solid B with it on the continuing trend towards an A, to be honest with you. Sean Dubin, I give him a B. I didn't expect anything out of him when he came up here. I think he's pitched pretty solid overall. He's helped them quite a bit. Josh Hader, C. We'll give Josh Hader a C. No, you know what? We'll give Josh Hader a C-. I think that's probably fair. He's been good in save opportunities. He's overall, all of his overall numbers outside of his ERA are actually like spot on to where he always is. He's just giving up too many home runs. Simple as that. Brian King, well, we can't give one to him. Seth Martinez, A+, been huge out of the bullpen. Rafael Montero, F-. Ryan Presley, I think he's elevated himself to a B- at this point as well. His numbers have really rebounded. Taylor Scott, A+ out of the bullpen. I'd give Framber Valdez a B to this point. In the catching department, Yainer Diaz, I'd say C+, just because there's not been enough power at this point. Simple as that. He's been very quietly underappreciated for the amount of runs batted in that he has this season. He's done a very good job at being a little bit of an RBI machine for this team. He's up to 49 on the year. That's a really good number, but he's got to hit the ball over the fence a little bit more. I'm not going to give one to Cesar Salazar just because he hadn't been up for a while or he hadn't been up long. In his brief time, he's probably been an A, considering what you expect for him. I'd say Victor Carantini behind Yainer Diaz, solid B+. I think he's a really good backup catcher. Jose Altuve, I'll give an A. I think he's having an Altuve type of season, chasing a little bit more than I'd like, but, I don't think it's bad by any means. Alex Bregman, you have to take into account, like you did with Hunter Brown, the entire picture. He was so bad for the first couple of months, but he's really turned it on. I would say at this point he's up to a C+. He is rising, though. He is rising compared to where he has been. Jeremy Pena, B-. Early season, it looked like the power was going to come back, and then it's gone away again. He's hit the ball harder this year. I think his discipline's got a little bit better. I like that he's fixed his mechanics at the plate quite a bit. I think that he has gotten rid of a lot of the movement that he didn't need up there, which matters. So I think he's got a chance to be a B player this year. John Singleton, I'd give John a C+. I think that's solid for John. Maybe if I went based off of expectation of what I had for him, A, but production C+. Good. I can live with it. I enjoy watching him figure it out and doing what he's doing. Jordan, probably A- just because he was bad there for about a month, but overall his numbers are still great. Mauricio Dubon, it's come down now. I'd go down to a C+ based off of recent play. It's kind of fallen back down. I'm not going to give one to Loperfido. Same with Cabbage. Chas McCormick, F-. It's been just an abysmal season. He has played his way out of being an everyday player. And then Jake Myers. I'm giving Jake Myers a B+. I think his expectation level for all of us was terrible. Look, he's not one of their better players, one of their best players. And I have no expectation of him being that way. But everybody's got this thing in their mind where they want to crush a guy left and right or whatever it is. And Jake Myers, unfortunately, one of those guys at the moment where he just gets obliterated if he goes out and has an 0 for 2 today. The numbers show it out. He has been one of the highest jumps in baseball in terms of hard hit percentage this year, and he's changed his approach to where he's more aggressive early in the count. The results are there. He's having a really solid. He's having a year that is better than league average. Around league average. League average is close to the 700 number in terms of OPS. He's got a 736 OPS. And he plays a stellar center field outside of the arm. And I just don't think that he gets enough credit at times. Does he need to be a 5 or a 6 hole hitter? Of course not. They've used him in the 5 or 6 hole quite a bit, but that's not who he is. We know that. The other guy I need to give a grade to is on the injured list, actually, would be Justin Verlander. I'd say a C. He had some moments. He had a couple of starts, but being hurt, you expect more, of course, when he's out. So I think I was overall pretty fair in just making sure I didn't miss anybody that was on the injured list at this moment that I needed to give one to at this point of the season. And nope, that's it. So that's where we're at. Overall for the team, I would give them a C+ for the first half, only because they were so bad early, and I had an expectation of them being a team that would win 90-plus games with ease, and they got off to such a sluggish start. Again, like Hunter Brown and Alex Bregman, their grade is on a trend towards going higher. They have a chance to get it back to a BB+ by the end of this season. So that will do it for our unofficial first half of the season with the Locked On Astros Postcast. Thank you guys so much for being here for all these. hit subscribe. Keep sharing the videos. The channel will be quiet for a few days, of course. I think I'm going to try and get some my first YouTube shorts up in some sort of fashion. Maybe I'll do some first half season reviews. I'll sit here at my computer and post them, and you guys can check those out. But we'll be back in full force Friday night when the Astros play the Seattle Mariners. That'll be a big, big series when they play Seattle. And that one, as we get ready to wrap up this show here, where's my scores? Seattle and the Angels are still 0-0. Seattle still doesn't have a hit in the game. They're in the fifth inning now in that one. So go Angels, go. Please keep winning. Please keep doing what you're doing. But again, that'll be a big series out in Seattle next weekend. 9:10, 8:40 the first couple of the nights for that. But guess what? I'll be staying up late with you to hang out and do those shows. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm off to fix my fence. The hurricane messed up. So that's going to be a hot rest of the day out in the sun. Enjoy it. We'll talk to you guys Friday night after Astros and Mariners right here on the Locked On Astros Postcast.